It's the Africa Tech segment of Network Africa. Welcome. They may be facing the consequences of their actions behind bars, but the prospects of a better life after is what they are clinging to, made easy by a new initiative that teaches convicts valuable coding skills. South Africa is helping inmates prepare for life outside prison.
Prison is a place for rehabilitation, not a dumping ground. For this reason, it's not far-fetched to develop the minds of prisoners so that they can be useful to society upon their release. In South Africa's Cape Town, this prison starts by training their inmates with basic computer skills. They are eventually introduced to high-level coding, a skill that makes it possible to create computer software, apps and websites, and that has grown in popularity around the world. The new coding initiative at Worcester is run by Brothers for All, a non-government organization that works to alleviate poverty and crime in South Africa. Fadiel Ori has been an inmate at Worcester Prison for 15 years. He says he's optimistic that with these new coding skills, he will be able to build a new life for himself in the outside world.
To be behind with technology, it is a challenge for us as offenders. We need to keep updated with what is happening within the world out there. For me, being 15 years in prison, having to go out and not knowing what technology is about, it's a major concern for me. So computer coding, I think, should have been in correctional service a long time. So the people who did bring it to us now, I think they should be applauded, and it should be implemented at all correctional centers. Yeah.
The Brothers for All coding project was started by former inmate Sile Shabalala. He was arrested when he was just 19 for robbery and was jailed for 11 years. Shabalala taught himself how to code while still in prison and now teaches prisoners the same skills in the hope that this will help them find jobs or start businesses after they are released.
At Brothers for All, we are looking for aptitude, determination and commitment, because we work with people that have been to the deep end of life, that are looking for that once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to just get out. And once now we introduce them into programming, it's like they've done this before. They just flourish with it.
Patient Cindy Siwe believes the coding classes have given her new goals.
I think it will help most of us, of other inmates as well, because it keeps you focused and, goal-oriented, knowing what you want to do and where they, especially for them to coming to us and teaching us this, because we wouldn't have been able to build our websites or learning about coding if it weren't for the Brothers for All.
South Africa has one of the highest prison populations in Africa, with over 100,000 prisoners. Experts say many who are released often become repeat offenders and end up back in the prison system.
Isn't that just laudable? Yet the economy of Africa is gradually being transformed by mobile applications, which has led to a rapid increase of app developers creating and embracing cloud computing, mobile technologies and social media to help improve and provide needs in different sectors of the economy, such as farming, healthcare, education and information gathering. Well, some say there is enough devices to go around every human being on Earth, but some software developers in Africa still face harsh realities in terms of affordability of mobile services, limitation in bandwidth, coverage, and, of course, power. Joining me to discuss this issue is Bankole Oluwafemi. He is the editor of Tech Cabal. Well, Tech Cabal is one of Nigeria's largest tech blog focused on promoting conversations around mobile technology and internet in Africa. Thank you so much for joining us on Network Africa.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I mean, so much has been said about the fact that a lot of people now have access to phones, but yet Africa, isn't recording that much in terms of numbers in that regard. Yes, I know people like you and I, the elites, we have phones and stuff, but they still say the number compared to other parts of the world is very low.
So in terms of smartphone penetration or devices in general, by 2020, there will be more devices on the continent than there are people. And that says a lot. We're already getting to mobile penetration parity, whereby, there's just so many devices now, and it's on the up, devices are getting cheaper. Already we're seeing devices, smart devices that are selling for less than $50. So that situation is going to change. And really the question is, whether Africa's economies, the countries can ramp up their infrastructure to catch up with the rise in the mobile trend, which is, internet and devices just crashing. And really, if you can solve the power problem, people have access to devices and internet, it will all just come together to create so much value.
Okay, so I mean, it's not so much as having access as much as it is to knowing how to use these apps. Do you agree?
So knowledge, education, and in terms of literacy rates, are not, in terms of actually using devices, obviously play a huge role in, how much value can be extracted from the industry, both for the people creating the content and the people consuming, in terms of how their lives get better. And that is also a function, of course, of the larger, broader economic realities on the continent. Of course, the opportunity that technology presents is, leapfrogging, decades of just, educational melees. And people we're seeing, from older people to younger people are just finding it easier to, use technology to learn. And the learning curve is also getting much, much smoother. It's not as steep as it used to be. People now can pick up a phone and on it will be preloaded most of the apps that you can use to, begin to do interesting things already. If depending on where they are, the location, they will usually be pre-bundled with internet access, and they can just get online really quickly. And the internet is a much more friendly place than it used to be, 5, 10, 15 years ago. So right now, the curve, like I said, is not as steep as it used to be.
Okay, so I have like 10 questions in my head, but I'm going to start with the first one, which is how easy has it been for, app developers like you to sell your ideas, to penetrate the market, to make money? Let me put it in layman's language.
That's a very good question. Now, I myself, I'm not an app developer, but in the line of my work, talk to, interact with quite a few of these people. And you are absolutely right. Monetization, of the back of, content, apps, websites, e-commerce is really, really tricky, and on the larger side of things where, companies that are doing this, that are in the space can pump in millions of dollars into the space, we're still seeing many of these people still waiting because it's a long-term game for them. They're still going to wait years before they can actually see a return on that investment. For the smaller players who are the actual developers themselves, it can be really tricky, but people are actually doing interesting things and are brokering strategic partnerships or just creating so much value that the apps are making money. So if you look at websites like Narrowland, there is apps that allow people to take tests, and prepare for examinations, and they partner with telcos, to do these things. They can even do profit sharing or revenue sharing with the telcos. They can do interesting plays that tap into the bottom of the pyramid and make money off the back of that. In fact, some local developers that we're seeing are not creating apps for just this market, but they have their sights set on other regions, and those people have the potential to make money where, the economies are more developed, and those people are actually willing to pay for apps.
I mean, I know there are a few Nigerian apps, like the way I like to call it, and African apps out there. Are there too many messaging apps out there now? Can you mention a few African messaging? That's what
I wouldn't say so. The question is, what is an African app in the first place? Is kind of the question that, if I'm allowed, can throw back at you. And really, when a product is designed for an audience, and it's serving that purpose in that audience, in that geography, is what I would say is, in my opinion, is an African app. And there are quite a few people doing interesting things. I would not say there is an equivalent of a WhatsApp or a WeChat or a Viber.
We will get there, don't you think?
We absolutely will.
Okay. All right.
Of course, these are super valuable companies that are, doing interesting things and have succeeded globally, and those things cascade into the market.
All
but
right.
other things are happening, not just in the messaging space.
Yeah. Okay. Bankole Oluwafemi is you're from Tech Cabal.
techcabal.com.
Thank you so much for joining us on Network Africa. That'll be all on Network Africa today. Thank you so much for watching. I am Adeshewa Josh.